is Diana, coming to you not quite live from the Glenville Branch Library with a tutorial on how to create the constellation embroidery of your astrological dreams. You should have a kit with all the necessary supplies. You can check at the Central, Glenville, Scotia, Rotterdam, or Quaker Street branches to see if we've got any left. So, inside your kit, you'll find a bookmark, some of our favorite starry reads for teens and tweens, a piece of kind of funny chalky white paper, we'll get to that in just a minute, an embroidery hoop, of course, a piece of blue fabric, and a bobbin with some needle and embroidery floss. You'll also find different kinds of designs, patterns you can use to create the constellation that you'd like. It also has a couple of explainer sheets about stuff that we'll go over in just a few minutes on things like how to start stitching, how to thread an embroidery needle, positioning your cloth inside the embroidery hoop, all kinds of stuff. So let's get started. First, we're going to take our blue fabric and we're going to place it face down on a nice flat surface. We're going to be making kind of a sandwich here. So the next layer is our white, what's called transfer paper. And you'll notice this has kind of like a chalky substance on it. You can see it on your fingers a little bit. You're going to place that chalky side down on top of the blue fabric. And finally, we're going to place our pattern of choice. I picked Pisces because one of my favorite people is a Pisces. Shout out to water signs. We're going to place our pattern of choice on top of the white paper, that's the top layer of our sandwich, because we're going to be tracing over the pattern itself, and that's what transfers the pattern onto the cloth so that we have something that we can stitch over. I recommend using a pen, and you can trace over all the stars in the pattern that you've chosen, and this will transfer them onto the blue fabric. Now this is where you can kind of freestyle. Some of the stars might be big, classic 5-point stars, some of them might be smaller starbursts. If you like the kinds of stars that I picked for the patterns, you can trace them directly and just, take it as it is. But you can also, fill in if you decide that you want to make a nice big dark star later. You can make some of them 5 points versus 4 points, really whatever you feel like, because embroidery patterns are very easy to customize. So once you've finished tracing, you'll have something that looks like this. And this is when we're going to put our pattern on the cloth inside of our embroidery hoop. So if you've never used an embroidery hoop before, you might not know that it's actually 2 pieces. There's a little screw at the top here, and that loosens it so that we can take it apart into the internal hoop and then the external hoop, which is the one that has the screw at the top. So we're going to place our internal hoop down on our table or our desk. We're going to grab our pattern and place it over the top. And this is where we can center it over top of the hoop so that the pattern itself is inside. And that's going to be the area that we stitch in. Then we're going to take the external hoop, put it down over the fabric, and you'll be able to feel the edges of the internal hoop under the fabric, and you're going to put it down over that, and so it will turn out looking like this. You can tighten the screw at the top a little bit if you need to keep your fabric in place. And you can also kind of twitch the fabric around to make sure that the pattern lines up nicely and gives you plenty of room to stitch on. Stars, we love them. So we're just about ready to start stitching, and this is where your bobbin comes in. You should have plenty of floss, white or gray, silver, I picked a couple kinds, as well as a needle. And you might be looking at your floss and saying, this seems like kind of thick compared to thread that I might have sewn with. How am I going to thread this needle? This seems awfully thick. Well, embroidery floss is actually composed of multiple strands. And for this project, I'm going to recommend maybe 2 strands of floss, and that'll be more manageable for threading your needle. Peel a couple of the strands apart, like so, and that will give you a more manageable width to work with. So you're going to grab your needle, go ahead and thread it. And you might be thinking, I will pull the floss down all the way through so that I've got 2 equal lengths at the bottom, and then I'll tie a knot. We're actually going to leave just a little bit of a tail up at the top, like so. And when we pull the needle and floss through the fabric, we'll be using sort of a little grip that you are going to grab the eye of the needle, and this will keep your floss in place. It might not feel very secure at first, but once you've made a couple of stitches, you'll get the hang of it. You can tie a knot at the bottom of the floss though to keep it in place during your first stitch, and from there, the stitches will take care of themselves. So when we stitch an embroidery, we're always going to be bringing the needle up through the fabric rather than going on the first stitch. And so you can see my needle is coming up through the fabric, but it's not really where I want to start. And you can really start anywhere on a pattern, but I recommend starting in a corner and then kind of working up. That way you're not necessarily running your hand across the pattern and smudging it or lessening it a little bit. And the only stitch that this project really requires is what's called a straight stitch. And it is the foundation stitch of embroidery, just the absolute bedrock. It's very easy. It only takes a couple of movements, and it's variable in that you can make it as long as you want, as short as you want. You can do a bunch of straight stitches in a row, and that's what's called a satin stitch. But we'll get to that in just a minute. So basically, we're going to pick one point of one line of our pattern, and we're going to pull our floss up until we can feel that knot right under the fabric. This is point A. Then we're going to pick the other end of that line, whatever our starting line is, and we're going to bring the needle back down through the fabric and pull it in at point B, and that makes what is called a straight stitch. And from there, you just keep going. That is the trick of straight stitches. So I'm just going to make a little starburst. And like I said earlier, if you have decided to create big, classic 5-point hollow stars, you can just outline them, or you can fill them in with, as I mentioned, what's called a satin stitch, which is several straight stitches right in a row. It creates an even satiny effect that's good for filling in blank spaces. It kind of feels like coloring with the needle and floss. One thing I will note that if you have a couple of stars that have a lot of space in between them, you might want to snip your floss off when you complete one star before you move on to the next. That way you don't have a big chunk of floss behind on the back of the fabric that can get snagged or pulled easily. It doesn't get in the way, basically. And that is really all you'll need to do to complete this embroidery. A bunch of straight stitches, probably of different lengths, depending on how big your stars are, how many there are. And if in the middle of it you decide that you don't necessarily, you're not vibing with the stars that you picked, maybe, you can start over. The great thing about embroidery is it's very forgiving. It's very easy to unpick stitches if you're like, I can do better, or oh, I think I might like this better. If you draw a 5-point star and you decide you want to do a starburst, that's okay. Stitch yourself a starburst, because the great thing about this transfer paper is that the markings that we don't cover up rinse out really easily. Once you're finished and you are done with your design and you like how it looks, you can rinse it just gently. You don't need to scrub it in water, and voila, anything that's left behind from our pattern that we didn't cover up with thread will be gone. So I would love to tell you about one more book that I didn't include on my recommended reads bookmark, and it's not specifically astrology themed or about the zodiac, but it does have kind of a witchy feel that I thought tied in nicely with the theme of this project, which is called The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. And this is a great read if you like contemporary fantasy, if you like stuff that's set in upstate New York, which happens to be where we live. I always like a book that's set in places that I find familiar. It feels like a little secret between me and the author. This feels a lot like Stranger Things in some ways. It's set in a small town. It's got some family drama, And it does have some kind of otherworldly, new agey type themes, including a very sort of tarot-inspired deck called the Deck of Omens. And that's sort of the fulcrum of the second book. This is a duology, so if you read The Devouring Grey and you really like it, great news, there's another. So if you read this and you enjoy it, I'd love to hear about it. We would love to see the embroideries that you might make. Feel free to email them to us. If you have questions about embroidery or your project as you get going, you can stop in and see me or your other librarians. There's a few embroidery enthusiasts among us. And yeah, just have a great time. I will warn you, it's very easy to get into embroidery without even realizing it. #pandemic hobbies. Until next time, have fun.